Namaskar. India has achieved freedom after long years of struggle and sacrifices by our ancestors. Every drop of their blood was for the glory of the motherland. 15th August is just no any other day, but a day to commemorate and remember the supreme sacrifices and the struggle, and at the same time to take pledge to serve our motherland in our best possible way. Our country is entering into 75th year of independence. 15th August 1947 was a historic day when we Indians gained freedom after continuous struggle for centuries. However, Swaraj was achieved after paying a heavy price of partition. The Sindhu, the cradle of Indian civilization, and the bank of river Ravi, which witnessed resolution for achieving independence, was no more part of newly independent young nation. The effort to achieve freedom and Swaraj by partitioning the Swar, for which lakhs of people sacrificed for generations, remained incomplete and one-sided. Political power was gained, but the cultural space was eroding away. India, situated between the Himalayas and the ocean, has been created by nature. Governance system kept on changing, but the cultural consciousness of this region remained intact. Politically, sometimes Chakravarti king ruled the whole of India, and sometimes small states came into existence in the absence of central power. But the sentiment of the whole country towards the element which the sages recognized as the conscience of the nation always remained the same. It has never allowed the cultural integration of the country to weaken. The British recognized this inherent power of India and filled a sense of disregard and disdain for this eternal in the minds of the people who came out of the British education system. The notion that the Indian knowledge tradition is regressive and incapable of providing livelihood has pushed the traditional structure to the margins. Along with this, the Indian value system, the realization of Swar, and the resolve to fight with the soul for its protection also disappeared from life. India faced many attacks from the northwestern part of India prior to the arrival of the Europeans. Chandragupta Maurya, Maharana Pratap, Shivaji, Guru Gobind Singh, etc. were all inspired by the idea of Swar to protect their motherland for centuries from these barbaric invasions. However, the inspiration of Swar disappeared from the minds of the leadership who grew up in European culture. The British ruler had systematically created a leadership to suit it for them. As a result, despite not lacking in patriotism and dedication, that leadership failed to meet the soul of India and tried to plant the exotic terminology and imported ideas of the West on Indian soil. The question of independence was not going to be solved by the mere departure of foreigners. It was a question of restoration of Indian values for which understanding of India was necessary. Investment in its knowledge tradition was necessary. As long as the consciousness of Swar was kept as a test of struggle by the great men who led the Indian society, there was an unbroken chain of sacrifices for freedom. The trilogy of Swadharma, Swaraj and Swadeshi was fundamental in this freedom. From Samartha Ramdas to Lokmanya Tilak, this concept of Swaraj is reflected everywhere. Even during the Second World War, when Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose gained control over Andaman and Nicobar Islands. They were named as Swatantra and Swaraj Island respectively. In his speech, he said, "There are no compromises for freedom. There are struggles and there are sacrifices." In the absence of these fundamental understanding and persistence in Indianness, achieving independence in paths through agreement was presented as a political victory, and India did not hesitate to pay the price for partition. Considering the script written by the British as a document of their victory, the transfer of power as a result of resolution passed in the British Parliament was addressed as tryst with destination from the ramparts of the Red Fort. Undoubtedly, this was not the Swaraj for which hundreds of years of struggle and lakhs of sacrifices were made, but this was an important milestone in the history of the freedom struggle beyond which nation was to travel. Whether the internal and global situation was favorable or unfavorable, the country continued to move towards the lofty goal of Swaraj with slow but firm steps. As a result of this, India today is fast moving towards achieving its due and natural place in the world. It is a matter of satisfaction that the young generation of the country is in search of Swa, and the uneasiness to search for the roots can be clearly seen in it. As we celebrate 75th year of independence, it is also necessary to look back, examine and awaken the inherent strength which has kept us united. The philosophical idea of Bharat, has enshrined in ancient texts and scriptures, must become the guiding principles for our future course. Our age-old ancient philosophy, like Vasudev Kutumbakam, Ekam Pasatya Vipra Bahuda Vadanti, etc., are the perfect solution for present-day world problem. These philosophy teach us to believe in world as family and the concept of tolerance. Thus, this occasion of the 75th year of independence from colonial power in 1947 is a context to review this journey and resolve to establish Swadharma, Swaraj and Swadeshi in the light of Swadharma. We at Organiser are proud to present the untold saga of 75 brave hearts who took on the enemy to save our motherland. Come and join us to celebrate their lives. Namaskar.